Jesus is speaking, and his own words are to offer you now a whole understanding of his simple way of peace, the way of peace which he has promised, the way of peace which he has offered, the way of peace which he will now finally reveal as his own understanding of his love. And this way of peace is so perfect that it will prove to everyone that God is about love. God is love. And this love is so perfect that it can be of itself the whole reality which everyone wishes to know. You see, my peace is love in its fullest recognition of itself as perfect. And when love understands itself so perfectly, it knows that this perfection is reality. I know that I have offered this peace in a simple way of offering it as the way of peace which can unite the world to myself, because I offered the world myself, and I gave my life to show that I could achieve for everyone that peace which everyone desires. I gave my life to prove that as God and as man, I was able to show everyone that they could enter into a whole reality of loving and living with myself that was so beautiful that it could achieve for everyone a whole way of being, a whole way of being with myself that would lift them into an utter recognition of themselves as bound to the very heart of myself in love. This bond would be their reality, because within this bond they would understand that they were completely united to love, to life, to wholeness, to everything that they knew to be perfect. And I would show them that this perfection was able to be for them the whole reality which could give them such peace, that this peace would lift them into a whole recognition of their existence as perfectly unified to my existence in a whole loving bond which proved to to them that they were utterly, empathically bound to love. And within this bond, they would realize that love gave them everything. Love is everything. Love is perfect. And the peace that would come from this understanding would be the perfect recognition of this reality as that whole perfection of itself in perfect, united, relational being. Now, this final plan will show the world that it is finally able to be with me in a mighty completion of my whole understanding of my love, so that the world will realize that this love can be for it the whole meaning of its existence. The world will realize that without this love, it fails to be. Without this love, it fails to know that it is real. And I need now to show that my love will bring it with me into the very heart of my love, to prove to it that I love it so deeply that I want it to be with me perfectly. I want it to be with me perfectly in a bond of love which is so perfect that no way will I allow this perfection to exclude anything or anyone that I have created. I need this perfection to be absolute. I need this perfection to understand its perfection as absolute. And I wish the world to now begin to know that I as God must achieve for myself that absolute perfection of myself, which knows that this is reality. And I want the world to be with me in this whole new reality of loving and living, so that we begin to understand that life is perfectly bound to a whole understanding of reality. Love is really the way in which each person can begin to understand his own reality and know that this reality makes him a whole entity, a whole being, a being who can be for himself so united in his ability that he sees himself to be whole. He sees himself to be complete. He sees himself to be absolutely bound to a real understanding of himself, which shows himself to himself so clearly that he knows that he is absolutely united to his own self. And I want you to realize that this is the way in which I am beginning now to offer you this whole understanding of yourself, which will begin to offer you your own relationship with myself in such a perfect understanding of your ability to unite with myself that you will begin to understand that your life is offering itself a whole new way of being, which can actually begin to organize for itself a whole vision. A vision of love, a vision of light, a vision of peace. A peace which is so real that you will know that it is peace. You will know that this peace is absolutely united to every deep desire of yourself. Every deep desire of yourself will be involved in its fulfillment, so that I will show you that you are simply bound to a deep bond of love, a deep bond of light, a deep bond of peace, which are so pervasive that they permeate your being and they lift you into a whole reality of life which is so beautiful that you begin to understand that life and love are wholly integrated into a perfect understanding of the nature of existence. And you begin to understand that your very life is a part of my life, and the whole realization of this lifts you into a way of being with me which actually surmounts a whole understanding of yourself, to the extent that you begin to feel in your deepest being that you know that you are whole. You begin to feel in your deepest being that you are achieving a whole integration of this being. And this being begins to understand itself in a purely whole conception of itself as real. And you know that this is yourself. This is yourself in such a perfect relationship with myself that your whole self is integrated into its existence in a perfect completion of your being. And this gives you such peace that the peace is your own understanding of everything that you know to be perfect, because you know that your whole being is integrated in such a wholly united way that you are understanding yourself in this wholly integrated way, and the peace is simply your complete recognition of this integrity as whole, as complete, as perfect, and you know that this is your peace. This is the peace which I have said rises to such a level of understanding that this understanding is perfectly united in its perception of itself as whole, and it therefore rises beyond this understanding to know that it is perfectly bound to a wholeness of vision which is complete. So the peace is absolute in its understanding of itself, and this creates within its perception such a beautiful recognition of its perfection that you feel this as the supreme understanding of your existence. And this understanding of your existence reaches a level of ecstatic understanding which shows you that you are really bound to everything that you know to be perfect, and you know that I am your perfection, and this makes you so perfectly, ecstatically happy that you are absolutely enveloped in this peace. Now, this is the way in which I want you to understand that I, as God, am offering you such a perfect way of peace that you must begin to realize that your life must enter into a new understanding of itself, and this will begin to show you that everything that you are beginning to see as this new way of living, this new way of loving, must simply be united to this scheme, because this scheme will begin to offer a perfect plan for peace, which you will begin to enter into in your whole approach to life, so that life will be a whole new experience, an experience of loving and living with myself, which will give you a whole new dimension. And this new dimension will offer you a perfect understanding of your ability to enter into a total relationship of loving and living in the world, which will begin to unite you to your whole vision of happiness, so that this vision of happiness begins to grow and it extends into a perfect united vision with myself, to show you that your vision can unite perfectly with my vision, and the whole vision is so beautiful that you realize that you are entering into a whole effort which can begin to show you that everything you desire is within your vision, and you know that you will enter this vision and you will achieve a whole understanding which will be for you the whole reality of loving and living, which will offer you your whole understanding of myself, your whole understanding of yourself, your whole understanding of everything that exists within your own sphere, so that you live your life in this way, and your life grows into a perfect bond of loving and living, which unites you into an integrated effort, which will finally show you that your life is bound to its whole meaning in a perfect completion of your whole being in a lovely way of peace. And this way of peace is now offering you this way of being, so that you can begin to enter into a perfect effort which will finally allow you to be perfectly at peace.